There we go. Let's see. There we go. That should be a little more readable for everyone. How's it going? Been a little bit since we started streaming. Oh, 1 second. Yeah, oh, we're good. I thought someone pinged me on the Discord, but it's just the announcement of the stream starting. So hopefully people had a good holiday. We're going to be working on some IronPython stuff. I'm trying to fix an issue in with the ticket dumper. It appears that there's an issue with it appears there's an issue with the library versions. So when you do like versioning like 3.8.1, the 3 is the major version, the 8 is like a minor upgrade, and then the third one is like a bug fix. Is like traditionally what those numbers are supposed to mean, but but for Python that's not always true. So the major fix is when you're supposed to be when you introduce breaking changes. That middle number is supposed to be like major capability upgrades, but not necessarily breaking changes. And bug fixes are bug fixes. Python doesn't really follow that. They'll update breaking changes in minor version updates, like going 3.8 to 3.9 can introduce a feature that's like if you use the 3.8 doesn't work anymore, it breaks things. And it appears that when they made IronPython, they did like a minor version update, like 3.8.1 or 3.6, I'm totally blanking the version, to 3.6.2, and that seems to have broken things for the ticket dumper. Like there's formatting strings which you're not supposed to be able to, or which like aren't backwards compatible with certain things and stuff like that. So it seems like the ticket dumper is not quite working if you do like a full agent on a Windows box that doesn't have IronPython on it. So we're gonna try and work on fixing that. So we're gonna have to like recompile the project from scratch, I think. But before we do that, we've got like our Lazarus class coming up. So I've been doing a lot of Lazarus research as a result, obviously. So I figured we'd talk over some of this stuff. But the big thing is Lazarus has been like dropping 0 days like left and right. Because let's see, there was this vulnerability in the drivers. So like Lazarus has like totally upped their game recently. Like they are no longer just like doing DDoS attacks and that kind of thing. They're dropping their own 0 days. They're doing a ton of the bring your own vulnerable driver thing, which is a like interesting thing because there's like a couple of ways of using it. It's interesting because we don't use it, at least I don't tend to use it as much during like pen testing and stuff. Because in order to use a bring your own vulnerable driver, which gives you the ability to interact with like kernel space. If you're not here, let me pull up a picture. Here we go. Where's the image? I just want the image. There we go. Let's see, do we have any questions yet? Yeah, so if you're not familiar, basically there's a bunch of rings. For the most part, like you really talk about like ring theory versus ring 0-ish. Or well, device drivers kind of. But so this shows like least privilege to most privileges. A lot of times you could see stuff simplified to like ring 1 to ring 0. like with ring 1 being user space and then ring 0 being like your kernel space. But this is actually part of the problem or part of what happened with Cobalt Strike and them taking down like the internet is basically back in the early 90s, Microsoft decided to no longer allow third-party software vendors to hook into kernel space. That's one of the reasons that blue screen of death was so prevalent, was all of these vendors, instead of following like more nuanced like software programming practices and stuff, inject hooks into the kernel and do stuff that way, and it made things really unstable. So they introduced PatchGuard, which prevented third parties from injecting into that space. The result of that was that like AV was really vulnerable to bypasses, which is like where all the AMSI reflection stuff and like all our user mode API hooking and unhooking stuff comes in. So in the early 2010s, I think, they started allowing vendors to have some access to kernel space again, but through a very controlled means. Like Microsoft has to review all of their software that it's had by Microsoft, all these things, so that you can actually get access to the kernel space. So CrowdStrike is one of those vendors that had access. They messed up their stuff, and then they crashed everyone's computers because they had access to kernel space. All of that is a long background on what bring your own vulnerable driver is, which is there's a ton of software out there that has vulnerabilities that allows you to make the transition from user space to kernel space, because even as system, that's typically something that's still prohibited. And getting into kernel space allows you to like hard disable AV, not just their in EDRs, not just their like user mode hooks and all that stuff, but like all the kernel stack hooks and like syscall monitoring and all that kind of stuff. You can like hard disable AV and EDR. But in order to install the driver, you have to be able to you have to be admin already. So from a pen test standpoint, that means that you already have to have gotten admin. And usually from our standpoint, if we're already admin, there's like more interesting things for us to go do. Especially if we're just trying to gain access or prove access to certain machines, or not necessarily trying to do persistence or like deploy ransomware. So it's like one of the things that we'll talk about in the Lazarus class next week. Like if you guys aren't aware, we've got our Lazarus class going on, and we're gonna do like a last minute giveaway through Friday and Saturday for a seat at the class on Wednesday. If you can't make it, don't worry. You'll get you can also, if you win and you don't get it and you can't make it, you can still get the video and all that kind of stuff, and we'll work with you. But it should be really cool because we're going to be talking about all this kind of stuff. But typically, from a pen testing standpoint, bring your own vulnerable driver is really not all that interesting, because we're not as worried about long-term persistence on a box and or like trying to prevent AV EDR from like detecting that we have ransomware deploying. So so I typically don't use it that much. Something I've been playing with that we are going to do is like part of the exercise is like if you have local admin privileges, which means you can start lateraling, you can theoretically upload, or you can, because I've tested it, you can upload like a bring your own vulnerable driver and disable the EDR before you even land on the box by uploading it to the admin share and then executing using something like using some kind of remote admin tool to execute the files that have been loaded into the admin share and hard disable the EDR before you even land on the box, which is kind of cool. So maybe I will start using it more often in some of our pen tests, especially ones where they want us to do ransomware sim. So that's really cool. But we'll be doing a giveaway on like Twitter tomorrow and Saturday. So like keep an eye out for that tweet coming out. But hey, everyone, how's your week been? We're about to get into the code, but anyway, I've been rambling a little bit because I've spent the last 5 days diving deep into, or actually not the last 5 days, the last 2 months diving deep into all this to make sure I understood it really to teach the course. So it's been like a couple months. But what was cool about the 0 day that that North Korea just dropped and like Lazarus just dropped is it was a vulnerability in a already installed Windows driver, which means it basically allowed privilege escalation without having to install anything. So it was very cool. But so like a very effective one that's actually one of the other interesting things is even though Microsoft has put all of this work into preventing untrusted parties from having access to the kernel, they do not consider admin to kernel a security boundary. So a lot of the other reason that Bring Your Own driver has taken off with these APTs is that often when you find a vulnerable driver, it remains vulnerable for quite a long time because no one actually, because it's, but since Microsoft doesn't consider it a security boundary, a lot of companies then don't think it's worthwhile to spend time on fixing it, and so the vulnerability stays in place for a while. So like there's like Dell drivers that have been vulnerable for like years. Microsoft did finally patch one of the admin to kernel vulnerabilities called PPL, which is like one of the primary ways that a lot of these were working. So that was patched earlier this year. But there's still a number of things that work. Like we'll be using what's it? We'll be using some of the stuff from this repo, which is like a really cool repo that the guy's been maintaining. So like these are still relevant for Bring Your Own vulnerable driver. So they are signatured is one thing, and they did get added. Like this one he was the most recent one he added, and it wasn't on Microsoft's recommended driver block rules for a while, but it is now. So it was signatured, but or it is signatured, but it's really not that hard to get past. Like I haven't done a ton with Rust, but I was just testing this Rust obfuscator today. And just running like default Rust off like the default settings on this Rust obfuscator got this past the past defender and everything from a detection standpoint. So pretty easy to obfuscate it past, and it's not a block by default on a lot of Windows machines. They have to enable the blocked lists. So there's some useful things there, and if anyone has any questions about it, feel free to ask me. But there was another I know there's another 0 day that Lazarus just burned. This one, I think. Yeah, a Chromium vulnerability, 0 day. So it's another interesting thing about North Korea's stuff going on right now from a threat. Besides the fact that, so I was just looking for their 0 days. If you Google like Lazarus group right now, or just North Korean hackers, there has been all kinds of reports coming out the last few days. We are kind of in that time period. Like September is kind of the time period where like a lot of these companies start dropping all of their research reports. But like there's been just the last 2 weeks, there's been all kinds of high level North Korean stuff coming out that's pretty cool. And then on top of this, there was also CISA just dropped a brand new alert on where am I looking for? This one. So not just, so I guess it was a couple months ago, from February, but it appears that they still have ongoing ransomware attacks. A lot of people thought they had moved on to primarily focusing on cryptocurrency exploitation, or like crypto wallet exploitation to steal funds. But as recent as this year, they're still seeing active deployment of ransomware by North Korea, specifically targeting like healthcare and public health sectors because those companies tend to pay. But so that's been pretty interesting as well. So yeah, Wednesday we're going to be spending all day talking about how to emulate Lazarus APTs. The last thing I was going to say about to go work on the Python stuff because I ramble a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I'll check. Sorry. The one of us, I'll check my DMs later. Sorry, Anthony was messaging me. I was seeing if he was going to join us. But so we'll see a lot of. So yeah, we'll be spending a lot of time doing this. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. Teaching some cool stuff, integrating Empire to match their TTPs and stuff. But so if anyone doesn't have any questions, we're gonna head over to our IronPython stuff. So I'll show you guys the issues that we're having. Ooh, I don't know what happened there. Not what I meant to do. Has anyone used the new Kali? I really don't like it, but I probably need to upgrade this one since it's almost a year old now. I guess I'll do that. Go ahead and download that while I'm sitting here thinking about it. But the new, they're trying to get really fancy, which we'll see if with all their changes they're making, hopefully they keep offering free VMs. Where are I don't want a VirtualBox. Here we go. Oh yeah, and then if you're like me and oops, I need to download that twice. Yeah, there we go. Microsoft finally fixed their dev VMs. So you can download VMware boxes again. They were, yeah. They were all gone for a while. They had no virtual machines. I'm not sure what they did to break, but that does mean probably that something's going on. They made memory changes to Windows, which might be why our Python shell injection and stuff's not working anymore. You guys probably, if you remember, I tested it a while ago. But yeah, we'll see what goes on with that. I haven't downloaded a new. Oh, whoops. There we go. Okay. And I did get a ring light for the stream, so hopefully I look a little better than some of the previous ones. I'm not just super in the dark. Oh, I forgot to check which branch I'm on. Yeah, so I'll show you guys what I don't think my branch was working. But capitalization must matter. Oh, did I forget to restart it? That's silly. But welcome if you just got here. Appreciate that you're here. If you have any questions about like upcoming training or anything, feel free to chime in. We're going to be working on IronPython stuff. I keep using the wrong password. Yeah, hopefully this is more interest. This is interesting to you guys because we're gonna have to. It's gonna be a lot of troubleshooting. Oh, I have a bunch of garbage in here. Let me reset my server one more time. I gotta get more prepped for you guys next time. Oh, and then hopefully people have some drinks with them. I have a Taconic Distillery Mizurna finished bottle. Mizurna was really popular like 2 years ago, and this bottle's from 2 years ago. I don't really taste the Mizurna anymore. I used to really like this bottle, but a little like it's past its prime, which there's not much left in it, so it's probably why. Oh, come on. Have you guys seen all the changes that are coming in 6.0? It's pretty exciting. And something I want to explore outside of has anyone played with ahead of time compiling for C#? Oh, so someone asked like what's going on Empire 6. Let me so we've got a new compiler that's coming out for C#, which is where I was going with that. Kali only supports up to like .NET 6 right now. But as of .NET 8 or .NET 7, they're now supporting ahead of time compilation, so like it won't run. Yeah, .NET 8, so it won't run theoretically if you're doing ahead of time compilation. Oh, you can do the ahead of time compilation. You just don't have the analyzers until 8. But theoretically, if you're doing ahead of time compilation, you no longer have to run through the COR, which means you can run C# code that is not instrumented by like AMSI and stuff anymore, because all the instrumentation is in the COR. But the major downside of it is this: basically reflection doesn't really work. So you'll have to go like to full BOF style execution. So assembly.load doesn't work. So that is like one of the big like advantages of C# is that we can do like on the fly loading and reflection stuff. So this being gone in the ahead of time compilation does hurt, but I think it could be pretty interesting for like your initial stagers, or What I'm not sure about is you can't do assembly.load within the, or my understanding of this is that you can't do assembly.load within the compiled AOT, but I wonder if you can do like treat the AOT as an assembly, because the way the COR and stuff works when you're going to run it is when you have an assembly and it builds the assembly in memory and you run it for it goes through the just-in-time compilation, attaches that compiled code to the block, to the assembly, so you don't have to compile it every time you run it. So I'm wondering if AOT allows for us to treat some stuff as an assembly, and like just to attach, like basically attach it to like a dummy assembly and then start running it, because that would have some really cool tradecraft implications. So like our taskings could all be ahead of time compiled, and we would just need like an agent that can do the reflective, like the base implant can do the reflective loading part, which would be really cool. Oh, and they include their runtime libraries. I wonder if we can do an ahead of time compilation of. Oh yeah, never mind. You can't do system.refl. You can't do emit. So yeah, IronPython wouldn't work with this. Never mind. That would have been cool. And it has to be x64, no 32-bit. But let me grab the Empire. Because Anthony just made a post about all the upcoming changes. Oh yeah, the other I can't remember. I can't believe I forgot about that. The other big change, big thing coming in 6 is that we're attempting to have a Go agent. So we'll kind of like how Sliver works, we'll be able to do that. And then the marketplace for plugins is like really exciting, assuming we get like more people using them. And like I'm gonna do like a demo of like building a plugin in our upcoming training too. But so cool stuff coming in Empire, but I keep getting distracted. So I'm just creating a basic HTTP listener for us to do our testing. So I know this one's going to fail. I'm just going to show you guys the problem that we're trying to fix. Oh, and then for you guys that are like watch the stream pretty much every time I'm on, I think I'm going to try and move to going every week on Thursday. We'll see how successful for this month it should work. But I'm going to be traveling a lot in October, so I'm going to try. We'll see. That'll work. It says it was copied to clipboard. There we go. That was weird. Okay, so this, oh, the assembly we use to load it still call, if you don't turn on any obfuscation stuff, still calls the assembly like Empire agent, and so it flags on that. Wait, why do I have these weird? There we go. But that's why, like, you see, it actually doesn't identify it as like the IronPython. It identifies it as SharpPyre. So we'll just go turn off real-time protection. Because right now we're not worried about being stealthy. We're just trying to get this to just work. Oh, where's my ticket dumper? Okay. Okay, let's try this again. So anyone got any questions on how this stuff works while we're waiting for this to start up? And knowing how this works for streams and demos, since I expect this to not work, it's somehow going to magically work. There we go. So this should like return, like basically saying like there's nothing, the machine's not domain joined, because like I'll show you guys that it works on the yeah, so like it just fails right now for some reason. Like nothing happens. It never returns as complete. Which is like weird. So IPY should be aliased. Yep. Yeah. Like we should get. Oh, there is an error here. I'll have to check that. That should be print. This is what's supposed to be running in elevated content. So we'll open a PowerShell and ask to verify. But we should be getting something returning like this. It's not supposed to silently fail. So the fact that we're just getting this null on the other thing means there's something going on. And like I said, there was a minor version change between the version that we use to compile for the agent originally, which we haven't like updated those libraries because there wasn't really a reason to. And so we think that the versioning is that it'll run when I run it locally because the versioning is correct and has like all the right files with the changes in it, but not when we compile like for the compiled agent when we do the bring your own interpreter stuff. And so I tried to yeah, so this is what should happen because this isn't a domain joined box, so there are no ticket pointers. There's no tickets for the box to collect. So when we run this through the agent, this is what we should get is something like this. But we're getting nothing. So we just get a null, which means failing, like silently failing, like the code's not running for some reason. Because it should still, like commands should still work because this should be running in the background. Yeah, so see, like the agent's alive, so we're still getting like data and stuff from the agent. So the agent didn't die. The tasking is just failing for some reason. And all I did was download this inputted tasking and copy it over. So the code that executes here, like successfully executes here, is what's being sent to the agent. So that's kind of why we're guessing that it's the versioning control and not something else in the agent, because we can verify that because it's not a corruption issue, because when you get a corruption issue, it'll send you back a thing saying like the Python code you sent me isn't valid code. Instead, we're just getting like a silent fail for some reason, which indicates that it's some kind of probably some kind of import that's not working, or a data type that's like silently failing and not being captured in the way in my output. So so the next thing to do is we're going to go, do I have Visual Studio installed on here? Yeah, I do. Okay. We're going to go download the IronPython project and try replacing the binaries that are in the IronPython agent. Yeah, so you see like this 3 months ago, like .NET 8, we think something broke when they made all these upgrades. Because that's when I installed like this box and stuff. So we think that that's what happened. So like they upgraded to like 3.6. Yeah, so this is like one of the things in there that I added that we didn't have in the previous binaries, is this formatted strings. So like we could go try that real quick. which I don't think that'll fix it. I think I tested that last time I was working on this, but we can go try. Yeah, so it doesn't like this formatted string is like we know is one of the problems with the way it's currently written. So anywhere we have like curly braces or like formatted strings, we probably have to fix it. Yeah. I might have to stringify this because Python doesn't like natively doing that. Just for testing, we're just gonna say failed to format string and see, or failed to extract ticket and see if we get. Okay, so we got no more of those in here. So now if we go that was a different window. Okay, so we shouldn't need to reload it because it should be pulling that source module every time. If we get the same result, which I think we're going to, let's see. So we're waiting. Yeah, so we still got null. Okay, so we'll restart the server just to make sure that it's not still using the old one, but it shouldn't be. But I don't know. But while we're, yeah. So the next thing I want to work on for the IronPython stuff is building out more modules, because like we talked about before, we kind of have the like in memory loading stuff working. It works. That's another thing that I'm hoping, like when we fix these updates, we'll also fix the in-memory stuff, because like it works perfect on my laptop, but not on some of this. Like when I tested on like one of our ranges, like so I get very intermittent. Uh-oh, I think my internet just died. Oh, no. Maybe. Can y'all hear me? Let's see. Okay, cool. Yeah, so like some of my other downloads and I had music playing in the background. Everything just died at my house. My internet's been dropping. Appreciate it. So we'll just not worry about it. So this is going in here. We just rebooted, so we should be good now. So let's go try running this one more time, and then if this doesn't work, we'll go recompile the project. Hoping, like, right now we just want to see something change, like a difference in the code so that we can tell. Nope. Okay, so we're going to try and recompile the project. Oh. So it is probably this that was breaking it on why it works on some of our machines and not some of the others. It probably depends on if the computer, yeah, probably good to know. So we're just going to get clone this down. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. Appreciate you confirming that the audio is good. Okay. I was just double checking stuff in the StreamYard while that was downloading. Oh, that's what happened. So my internet's not been very stable the last week. So what I've been doing, like streams or like meetings, I've been using like Spotify just like super quiet in the background. So like if it cuts out, I can hear that like my internet dropped. So I know like if it's me or the other person. And it looks like my girlfriend just started using the Spotify, and that's why I cut out. And so I thought it was the internet. Where's our solution? No, I don't want to sign in. Let's see if we can just target our local version. Don't make me go. Oh, I get to change it individually. That's really annoying. Yeah, we just want net. I've never seen it written like that, though. It's interesting. That was funny. Well, since it has 462 that's installed on here, what happens if we just do build and tell it to skip? Oh, everything fails. Did I have to do a recursive? Get clone. Yeah, okay. That's I didn't recursive clone. So annoying when you forget to do the recursive clone. But yeah, so while we're waiting, has anyone seen any other interesting languages? I know like Lazarus has been using dlang, which I don't know. Which I don't know a ton about. It's supposed to be like, I think it's like kind of like Nim, which is like a little weird. But like North Korea has been writing like a lot of dlang malware. I've still heard some whisperings about IronPython being used in various places. Although I still haven't been able to find anything, which I guess is potentially a good or bad thing. Okay, it says this was checked out, but did they actually clone it down? Doesn't look empty. So let's try this one more time. The reference assemblies for .NET Framework. Do I not have 4.6? Oh, they went away. Never mind, they found them. Here, let's see. We'll just install 4.6.2. I'll have to retarget the whole thing too. I could not find. Ugh. No, I don't want to install those. See what happens if we just try building the solution. Looks like it's working. Oh no, it doesn't like that. 4.10 instead of ooh, it did not like me doing that. Why is it referenced 4.10 if we're compiling against 4.8 though? Or 4.6, I mean. Oh, it worked that time. Sweet. Okay. So that succeeded, actually. That's a little surprising. Okay, so now we need to go replace all those DLLs in Empire. So, oh, did I just close that by accident? No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah. So it looks like everything we need should be in one place. Find out in a second. So I know we need a bunch of these DLLs, Microsoft, all these. What are these DLLs? Yeah, and we need all these. Okay. Yeah, okay. So now let's move these on to in and out, which is annoying. But we'll do 2, 3, 4, 5. Where'd the sixth one go? Okie dokie. So now we're going to move this over to here. And so if you've never gone and dug into how this works, where we're going to go is into the server. And this is one of the big things that's going to change in 6. So right now, everything's kind of the C# folder, and we're using like the Covenant compiler, but the Covenant compiler is kind of old, and there's not really, based on how we're running TTPs, there's not really a reason anymore to run like the Rosalind compiler locally instead of using like .NET Build. .NET Build gives you a little more flexibility. So Anthony changed things to be like a lot more like core to the server instead of having like this weird piping thing that we're doing. So you see all of these, we have like the library.zip, which I don't think we actually need to change. These are all pretty old. So we can potentially go like try and switch out So so we're gonna have IronPython in here. Should be in here under program files. There it is. So this still says 3.4 and it worked locally. So we're gonna try something. We're gonna delete IronPython 3.4. And I'm gonna reinstall from our GitHub page and go to their releases. Oh. So why do they have a 3.6 release notification in here? That's yeah, okay, so this is part of the confusion. They're on IronPython 3.4, but they've included stuff from Python 3.6. So, okay, so I didn't need to delete that. I already had the most current version, but we'll go install the release. Mostly because we just want the standard library stuff. I might just check this up. That's okay. So someone asked if there's a channel on Discord. I'm not aware of one that we use specifically for this, but please feel free to jump onto the general chat and chat there. I'm really trying to get us. We're like one or two average users away from being able to turn on discovery for the server, which will be really cool for us because it means we'll get more people in the server and like it'll be more active. Like I know we have a pretty good group of people on the server right now, so like it's definitely like an awesome place to hang out anyway. But just from like a getting out the news type of it would be really cool to be able to turn on the discovery stuff so that we can get that going, just to get the word out more about us and everyone and get more people in that'll help. We don't want to necessarily be like the Try Hack Me server that's like just thousands and thousands of people, but it would be pretty nice to get like just a handful of people to get a few more people so that the posts are flowing throughout the day. And I have to take that away now. But yeah, we got lots of interesting. Why is there so many things going on here? Okay, 3.4.1's installed. So let's go back to our IronPython. Let's go to check on the solution. I can't remember if the solution includes the standard library. It doesn't look like it. Let's see. Do they have information on building it? Oh, apparently I didn't need to use. Let's just try this to see what happens. Ah, this is what I was looking for. So this will have our updates to the standard library, like the newest updates to the standard library. Okay. So did they make any changes to the standard library? Yeah, 8 months ago. Yeah, that was after I did that, or after we. Oh, but before the release, yeah. I don't know how they keep track of that. Well, let's see. Still compiling. Okay, so we're gonna go zip up this standard library. So one of the really frustrating thing, like one of the gotchas when if you're trying to package up the standard library for doing any IronPython stuff is, I'll show you guys in a second. It's slightly counterintuitive, but if you just try to zip like from here, if you haven't done a ton of stuff with zips, and I forget about it all the time, even though I know this, like it makes sense. Like, oh, you compiled that standard library into a zip file, but what it actually does is it sends that whole folder into the zip instead of compressing from here down, and so that breaks a lot of things. Or actually breaks everything. So if you're trying to do IronPython stuff with Empire, you don't want to create the standard lib like that. You want to come in here and select everything. Actually, we might just want this lib folder. Hold on, let me go double check. Yeah, we just want lib.zip. Okay, so we have all our DLLs now that we've built. We don't really need that one or that one or any of the EXEs really. Okay, so the build instructions to go to the bin. Did it build it as a release mode? Huh. Yeah, so we need all of these DLLs. Oh, we do not need all those DLLs though. Oh, oops. We didn't want date modified, we want by type. We definitely don't need all these row one test things. So we're gonna delete all these because we're just gonna zip them up to transfer. I don't think we need any of these. We definitely need that Microsoft scripting meta. We definitely don't need these. So let's delete those. But we do need all of these. So we're also going to compress these to a zip file. Ugh. Okay, so we're serving. I forgot to check my IP address. Kill the agent. Go away. Ugh. So anyone got any fun plans for the upcoming weekend? I'm just going to be running through range stuff. The week before the first time we teach a class is always a interesting experience. Because even though we've been working on it for months, it's still like we gotta go check everything and make sure we didn't. There's the lib.zip and dlls.zip. Okay. I don't know what all these are. So lib.zip, we're just going to copy directly into our embedded resources. And so we're going to do this one step at a time. So we've embedded our lib.zip. Let's see if we broke. So let's run this. Let's see if our agent still works with the new library. Okay, so we got an agent back. That's a good start. Just try whoami command to make sure that tasking still works. So while we're testing this, if I move to like a weekly type of, a new server for the rack, nice. Uh-oh, that's not a good sign. Yeah, we crashed. Okay, so last time I tested this is because our DLLs aren't up to date. So let's try updating our DLLs. It also might be okay. So we did zip that properly. Where's our downloads folder? There we go. So let's extract these. So let's see, anything we feel like we should have. Oh. So we're missing IronPython SQLite, IronPython WPF, and the rest should be okay. So we're missing these two. I think we grabbed the system.buffers. Let's see. Yeah, so we grabbed that. Okay. Oh, I grabbed the wrong SQLite one. Okay, so we got those downloaded. Okay. So now we're gonna go try running our IronPython again. And if we're super lucky, this is just, I doubt it, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. Because this is about where I got last time I tried this, figure out what was going wrong. So I decided that it would be better to restart from scratch. But we did get an agent callback, so that's, or an initial, so that's at least a start. Okay, we're not dying. Oh, shoot. So let's go look at this. So it's dying on the initial stager. shouldn't be the issue, but let's make sure we're not getting killed by Defender. Nope. Nope, still off. I'm trying to remember what I did to fix this last time, because I got past this step last time. It did at least fully stage. Okay, so next step. We want to write this to disk. I just got to remember the proper way to do that. Or well, here, let's do this first. Oh, dang it, problem with these. So AV, you've got what's the rack going to be for? Is it going to be a is it like hosting a bunch of VMs, or do you have like, is it going to be a like specific, like is it an ESIX host or is it something like a Plex server? But since we're entering that the last bit of the last 40 minutes of the stream, I guess I'll go ahead and get my second pour. So I'm drinking Bardstown Foursquare Proxmax. Oh, nice. Yeah, we're looking at trying to build our own, going forward, maybe building our own self-hosted infrastructure for all our courses, because we've been using like immersive labs and stuff, but no. Where did my mouse go? There we go. So if you've never seen it before and you aren't aware, if this is what it looks like when AMSI blocks the loading of an assembly versus like PowerShell, it doesn't actually say that the assembly is malicious. It just tells you that it couldn't load the assembly. So if you see something like this where it says it can't load something from like anonymously hosted, that's because Defender blocked it. It'll give you like if it's like not the correct like version or something like or format, it'll give you that error. It only tells you that, at least in my experience, it only tells you this when it's being blocked by Defender. So this is all looking right. So it's got like a randomized name from the server. Let's see, what's our entry point? Yeah, so this all looks right. So let's try executing it. Yeah, so. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna make this visible so we can see if we can catch the error. Yeah, and we want to make an output instead of running. So this is why we're dying, is because it's running environment.exit, which is when it has an error instead of throwing an error. What's the command for anyone? Yeah, they're not like immersive labs, to be fair, like they're not cheap, but they're compared to most of the other lab providers, they're very competitively priced, or at least they were when we first started working with them. But Anthony just found like a new self-hosted thing in OpenStack that he wants to look into, so we'll see. But oh man, why is my brain blanking on what the code is for the most recent error in C#? Does anyone remember? Okay, I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT instead of struggling. Does anyone else? Has anyone else found if any of the other LLMs are better at coding than ChatGPT? That's what it is. There we go. I knew I was forgetting something. That was odd. Wait, why can't I? Why is my space button not working? Okay, let's just close it. It's just doing something weird. Did I break my... That was weird. Why was it minimized like that? Okay. And then the other thing we want to do is we're going to go update in our stagers. Yeah. So let's try this one more time now. Now we should get more information on what's happening. And if we do full name, we should get, yep, so it's a different name than the last time. Okay, there we go. Could not load system numerics.vectors or one of its appendices, invalid pointer. I wonder if we can pile it against the wrong .NET version. So I'm guessing it's this DLL. So let's go see if we can find that in our compilation. So we did transfer it. Huh. This says it was modified in 2018. Yeah, let's see. Maybe it's because we... So maybe it was because we didn't actually... No, that's the same here. Well, we did at least identify where the problem is, but I don't understand what the issue is. Because this hasn't changed, so this should be the... Okay, well, let's try this then. It looks like it hasn't changed. What if we put the old one back in? What am I doing? I'm so bad at Git. I have to check every time I try to... Okay. Let's see, this should tell me that it was created today. Yep. And this one should not. They're identical, so what's the problem? Okay, well, we should change this to... So let's try Git stashing this again. Yeah, okay, so oh right, I got started back up. But yeah, I don't know. This is like weird, like a weird issue. Oh, Quad is pretty good. Sorry, I totally missed that. Oh, Quad lets you actually like work off of a specific object. Oh, that would be super useful. Because yeah, whatchamacallit? It is very not useful when ChatGPT tries to force overwrite everything every time. But yeah, I was talking about like the obfuscation stuff. The fact this is what when you try to load the assembly, this is what Defender is flagging on. Is the fact that it's still called Empire.agent. It's not very hard to go change that if you ever need to. Okay, let's try this again. Uh-oh. I should just memorize this code instead of being so lazy, but oh, whoops. I forgot to start Starkiller. Okay, there we go. Oh, apparently we are starting from a broken version on this ticket dumper. So that's part for sure. Okay, so let's go back to sponsors main. Debugging is one of the most frustrating things to do, although it is very satisfying when you do finally figure it out. I spent forever last night trying to get a JNDI injection to work, and then I got to work this morning. It was very satisfying. Okay. So we should have a working agent now. So let's just go verify that. This Bardstown for like rum finished with Foursquare is really good. It's a couple years old, so I don't think you can get it anymore. But if you see it, you should definitely get it. I don't know if anyone else is a rum fan, but I'm also a big rum fan, so that influences my opinion a little bit. Oh, I didn't say it. That's lame. That's weird. That's not supposed to happen. But I'm guessing that I forgot a semicolon somewhere. No, both of those look fine. That's bizarre. Okay. Let's revert these to just plain vanilla, no changes. Oh, that's the issue. What I had. There we go. I'm just gonna restart it just to make sure. Okay. There we go. We should get a pop-up in a second. Okay, so we have a working agent now, but we should have gotten a pop-up. We should have been able to see the Okay. Okay, so now that we know that this is working, I hate that. Oh, this isn't up right now. So now, oh, we did get a pop-up eventually. Weird. Okay. Oh, never mind. It's not the pop-up. That's from the. But sorry, I forgot to check the stream for comments. But we'll be. I'll be heading. We got about 7-8 minutes left. Feel free to ask any questions. I gotta go get dinner ready after this, so I will be dropping off. Okay, well, that's a start. Okay, so we got both stages with the new libraries, so maybe let's try it. Oh, right. Ah, crap. So I'm just going to grab the source code for the module. Like, it's not that hard. I could have just like cut and pasted it from somewhere else, but this will just be a little faster. Okay, so useless. Okay. Okay. Last thing, data module source. Hopefully this works. It'll be really nice if it does. Okay, so we're all good there. We should still have a live agent. Okay, wait, oh. Oh, our agent died. Oh, I forgot about. I forgot about that. We'll do this the easy way. So many nuanced things to remember. So we need secret socks out of here. Or secret socks its own. Is it a folder? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. Do we already have it here? Yep, okay. Huh, the file's smaller. Interesting. Yeah, looks like everything's there. Okay. Oh, I gotta start the server again. Dang it. I keep doing that. Oh, but this is gonna be our last test for the night. then I gotta go. Thanks everyone for coming. Like I said, stay tuned on Twitter tomorrow. I'm gonna be putting out a tweet about doing a giveaway for the class next week. And if you're looking for something to do next week and you don't win, come join us. It's gonna be a class. But hopefully this works. Okay. Okay, well, that's a good start. Okay, that's a very good sign. Oh, okay. Yeah, I give up. Give up for now. We'll try again. Yeah, if you have any questions about stuff, if you have any questions about the Lazarus stuff, even if you don't take the class, feel free to reach out and ping me. But thanks everyone. Have a good night. I'm gonna be logging off, and we'll see you next week.